I thought we were starting at 2. So anyway, luckily I'm here on time.
It's only 5 minutes, Patrick.
Hmm?
It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's good. Hello, everybody. And thank you all for coming. And thank you, Liat, again for everything. And to the EACVA team to have me. So I'm going to talk first about my practice and where it comes from. Then I'm going to talk about my work in Constance and how it has influenced the paintings that I'm showing here. And then I'm going to show my latest experiments for the project I'm working on for the EACVA project. So that's actually one of the most influential things that happened to me. When I was 9 years old, my dad went to do a seminar on automation, and he brought back this computer. And it was a board programmable in assembly code with an hexadecimal keyboard to enter instructions. And as a 9 years old, if you focus on something, you can do stuff. So I managed to do some little things. And from the beginning, what fascinated me it was the possibility to make autonomous systems, to make things that work. But it was not the first. I was already fascinated by clocks, with the gears, and also as a system, with electronics, so the things working by themselves. So I'm going to say a few words about art and technology, because there's always this question, and we have this impression that it's new or that there is a problem with art and technology. But that is art and tech, right? Because there is a technology of the stylus, or whatever was used to make the engraving, and there is also the graphical language, which is also a technology. So art and technology is a long story. So after I got this first computer, I continued to study computing. I did a baccalaureate. I registered in a university to do the computing course, but I never attended. And then I did different things, and I ended up going to London to become a painter. After 9 years of being a painter, I lost my way. I got stuck in my painting. And then, in the meantime, computers had evolved a lot. The internet appeared. And I got the intuition that I could do something with mixing art and computation. And so at the time, I looked on the internet and I found the algorithms, Roman Verotsko, Manfred Mohr, Harold Cohen, etc. And I noticed they were using pen plotters, so I bought myself some pen plotters. And I had computers that I was recovering from office skips and things, installing Linux and working with Python. And I started to do those kind of works, which were, because one of the, I didn't manage to get spontaneous anymore with my paintings, and it's what really stuck me. Everything I worked on became very stupid, very naff, totally stuck. And so using the computer, I had this idea that I could continue to investigate the drawing practice, but with a distance. So being, and in some ways, we disagreed with Roman, but I said that I can't be more spontaneous because I don't touch a pen anymore. So I did those things, and actually those drawings were what enabled me to join Goldsmith as a mature student for a master course in arts and computational technologies. What was the name of the course?
Arts and computing.
Oh, arts and computing. And it's where I met Frederick, who was the course director. And we started a collaboration that lasted a few years, and that was 20 years ago. It's amazing to be able to say that was 20 years ago. You'll see it will happen to you too. And at Goldsmith, so I am a bit of a monomaniac, less now. So I worked on a system that this time generated faces, but still based on the drawing practice, and this time instead of doing that, did that. And I'm still working on the difference between the two. But this one was totally simulated, so not embodied the system. So, and then after, so we were lucky, I mean lucky, no, we worked very well, especially Frederick. We wrote a paper that was published in a conference, VSSM, but also a poster that was accepted at SIGGRAPH, which was a big concentration. I didn't manage to get there because there were some things happening, but, and based on that, Frederick encouraged me to do a PhD. And we managed to get some funding from the Leverhulme Trust, which enabled us to rent a booth at Kinetica Art Fair, where we met with Lisa, 10 years ago?
15.
15?
2010, 15.
Oh yeah, but it's been the pandemic, you know. It's so by then I had done some robotics because I realized that to produce a drawing, you need to have a physical thing in movement, because a drawing is the memory of the movement of the artist, of the intention of the artist. And so we needed this sound to move. And so for me, until then, it was only about the drawing practice. It was only that. And then I exhibited the robot, and I saw the reaction of people being mesmerized for various reasons, including the fact that having a machine seemingly autonomous producing drawing, that really shocks people, because drawing is such a human activity. It doesn't happen naturally, and when you look at a drawing like the ochre, oh, what's happening? Yeah. Yannick? Hey, I don't know.
Yes, power. Yeah, yes, power.
What did they do?
No, nothing. It just went off.
Yeah. I can mime.
Ah, it's coming back. Ah.
Yes. Oh, now I have to go back. So I exhibited the first time, and I didn't expect this thing that I realized that robots could be used as actors, and that totally opened up a new area in my practice, which was the performative aspect. And in a way, now I'm more known for my installation, performative installation, than for the drawing. Even if the drawing is still central, the mark making, all my installations make marks in one way or another. And so, following Kinetica, I got invited by a Tender Pixel director, Ethaniel Feld, to have a solo show there, where Leah visited at the time, that sometime ago. So you are so young.
Randomly walking in London and came across the gallery.
Yeah, it's amazing.
2012, maybe.
2011. 11. And so I did that, and at the time I did this video of me being drawn by the robot, and that became viral. And now it's at 3.4 million views. But at the time it was 100,000 for a 5-minute video. Now it would be totally impossible to have that. Anyway, following that, and that really started the process, and I got invited to different things. That's the first time where I exhibit multiple robots during one person. And that is really the performative aspect. There it really worked, started to be the artistic side. Before it was not totally there, where I use old school desks and a setup like that, where it's really a performance, where you have to stay still and the people observe the performance, and so the people observe also how the drawing unfold, and the person sitting still. And for the person sitting, it is also an experience, because the robots look at them and get agitated when they draw, so you perceive that. Plus, they have the people looking at them. So it is really thought of as a performance. It's not due to chance, it's not thing, it is theatrical. A lot of things are just calculated to have a certain effect. So I exhibit all the time this, so this is really my bestseller, this installation. I've exhibited it more than 100 times. It has produced more than 50,000 drawings. At the moment, I have, of this installation, I have four around the world, 5 around the world, including the one in Berlin. Because there is one in Berlin, but I won't say where it is. So yeah, so in different places, it's Seoul, etc. Oh yes, I want to show that. So that's at the Variation Art Fair in Paris in 2015. And I really feed on that, on the reaction of the audience. And what is amazing is that all over the world, people have the same facial expression, with different intensity depending on the area. But you see the same expression, the same movements of people repeating the same. It's fascinating. And I really miss that during the pandemic, because I exhibited during the pandemic, but obviously I didn't see it live. And I'm very lucky and privileged to have this piece that works so well with audiences. I never know how to pass that. Oh, no. Oh, yes. It's not very well designed. And so the drawing is a. Oh, how do I get the full screen on the. What is the shortcut for full screen on Apple? Which one?
The little green one up in the top left corner.
Yeah, I don't know where is the left. Oh, the green one?
Yeah.
Oh, funky. Yes, so for me, even if the performative aspect has taken over, and I'm more known for this thing, and the problem with robots is that they hide the drawings, the works. That's why Harold Cohen stopped exhibiting the machines, because if these are the machines, people don't really see the work. I mean, the work produced. But I've taken too much fun with it. I like the attention that the machine brings. But the drawing practice is still very important for me. There is a performative aspect and the drawing. The research into drawing is still, the investigation, the exploration is still very important. And so I designed the system based on the technique I used to produce drawings, but I worked on the system so the drawings are not pastiches. They are really true to the robot in a certain way. The drawings are a consequence of the characteristic of the robot, so the style comes from there. It's not forced, it is natural. And I designed the system so it is, the consequence of my approximative programming is that the system is very sensitive and quite unstable. So it takes some time to tune, and each time I exhibit an installation, I spend half a day, depending on the time I have, to retune the system until I'm satisfied with the drawing. So like that, each time it's different, and I don't get bored. And like that, I'm still a drawing practitioner. And we see it, and also always program on the system. The system is always changing. I'm always adding things. I have until 2:30, right? 2:20, how much do we leave for questions?
As you wish.
Okay.
How much more do you have?
I have another slide in
total.
total.
You have to get to the new stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So when I had this actor of this robot, this RNP robot. I won't say why it's called RNP. And then I thought, oh, I have this actor, so I can use it in other performances and to express other things. And then I started with the vanitas, because it's a thing, because it's about life, it's about existence, it's about humanity, and it enables to tell other stories depending on the objects that are chosen. So those were the first drawings, and then now it has become a series of works, because most of my installations actually are series of installations. And I started to put taxidermied animals, because I mean it has a present, and then to choose the animals to tell stories, and now it's based on the fables. And in different countries or different continents, there is the same resonance. And I choose the object like that to have a resonance in people's minds, so like that they can invent their own stories, or it has an echo. And it's the same thing. I always retune the system depending on location. And I started to play with the shadows. And when I work on the still life, I really work like if it was a painting. I really choose a place and I work a certain amount of time to get it stabilized like that, like if you do a painting. That's the kind of drawing it does. I mean, that was the first version in color. So that is the most performative installation. That is a play. There's no autonomy. It's all directed. It's all orchestrated. And actually, for that, and I didn't mention it, but I use something linked to the iCub, Julia. I use a YARP to control all my robots. And it's how I managed to do an installation with 20 robots like that, because it uses YARP, because it's so easy to control things. And I've been using YARP, which is the control system for the iCub robot, the communication system, since 2009. So all my robots are based on. So that's a story about conformism, and revolt, and learning, and things. You can see on the website the video. So that was in London. And it's actually why I had to sell an installation at the gallery in Mitte. That was to finance that, because I needed 10 more grand to pay for the things. And I didn't have a choice. I had to sell an installation to the person in Germany, in Berlin. Okay, so those are other installations where so those are mobile robots, so like that I do big drawings, and those ones record the people passing in the space, and it makes those big maps of people we done with scribble. So you can't see the people, but they are there. They are a record of time. I'm passing a bit faster, and that is the same. There's one drawing made per day, and it is a combination of the people who have stood still in one position. That is the latest installation, which is Human 7, La Lecture, or the time to read. And there are 2 robots. So I force people, the performance is that you take a book, and for half an hour you read, and the 2 robots draw the person. It is really encouraging people to read in our times where we don't have time for that. And it produces those kind of drawings which are a bit different. Like that, when you are observed doing something, you think about what you're doing. It's also thinking about what it means to take the time to read. So, sorry. Yeah. So in 2013, we met, did we meet in 2013 yet? In Nancy, I was presenting a paper at the Computational Aesthetic Conference, Symposium, maybe. And I met Oliver, and I don't know if you invited me straight away, but that was not far after, to visit Constance and to do a residency. And I did this 9 months residency in Constance, which was amazing. I mean, it's such a good place to work, this university. And I was really welcome. So I worked with the EACVA robot for all those 9 months. And what was good is that, so first it was very well funded, which was very appreciable. And we had already the exhibition plan at the end. So there was a strong motivation to do some work. I don't know if I don't think I have time to show the video.
Oh, please.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Because he immediately used our robot in a very creative way that we never have been thinking of.
Yeah, and also I had to do many paintings at the same time because the space was quite big where there was the exhibition. I really work with constraints. Computationally, it's whatever works. So I work on this system. Actually, I use the same technique for the robot. Anyway, it's white brush strokes, glazes is a kind of pre-impressionist technique in a certain way, except that I don't even use color. It's really, I mean, I use color in the glazes. Okay, anyway, and that was the previous robot. That was a really dangerous one. Anyway, I'm not going to show too much. Oh.
You want to jump to the end of the video?
Yeah. And so that was the type of painting it did. So I always, yeah, and also when I use those machines, I try to do things that I wanted to do by hand, but I never managed to. So that was a technique I tried to develop when I was a painter. I never managed to, and I use that as an inspiration to do those type of works. And that's another coincidence. That is Mimi, who is a student of at Goldsmith. That was sitting few seats down when we went to do the opening seminar at Goldsmith, so a few years ago. It's one of those other coincidences. And that's Monsieur Frédéric Lemarie, Paul Lemarie. And that's you. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's right. So I have a short video to explain the process for those paintings. So it starts with a small sketch. And then I use stable diffusion with a control net to produce some photorealistic images. And then I use an evolutionary optimization system to place the brushstrokes on different levels. And that plans the brushstrokes position. And then I have this machine that I built that places the white brushstrokes based on this first plan over many layers, and then I wait for the paint to dry, and then I do the stupid job, I do the mechanical job, but the robot does the clever one, the skilled. And that gives those type of works where I already played with the edge of abstraction and strong and color. So it was really to get at the limit, trying to just get the human presence. Oh, I don't get it. I'm going to pass that off. No, because that's about, actually it's linked to the work I'm doing at the moment for the EACVA project. So that was, I did in 2017 when Pix2Pix appeared, I did this experiment where I trained one of those Pix2Pix model with some of my robot's drawings, or what a simulator did, and with images of faces that produce, and then I explored the system by drawing drawings. And it is very interesting to explore deep learning model or any other machine learning model with drawings or with a live API things. It enables you really to explore the thing, or to give the impression that you explore the thing. It might not be true, especially with the current ones. Okay, anyway, after it's a bit repetitive. Oh. Ah. Really not used to. Oh, I thought that was. There's no more the green button. Oh, I see. I know why. Ah. I'm shaking, so it's not working. Yes. Yes. No. I should. No, I won't show that. Okay, I won't show that. I won't show that. I won't show that. Anyway, the different use of machine learning that I've used. So now we're arriving to the EACVA project. So I've generally when I when I work on some installations or projects or commissions, I don't really do often commissions, but here a project where there is a constraint or we have to produce something. I do a lot of research. I start with some ideas and then I spend a lot of time doing research in different directions until I find something. And eventually I don't use much of this research, but it kind of feeds the result. So I do all those technical research, and after, when I have found some elements, I try to make it into an artwork or to make it artistic. So here at the moment, so that I'm showing you what I found last week or the past 2 weeks. So it is very recent. I've been doing research with the LLMs since the beginning. So since May. Oh wow, almost a year. Oh yeah, it's almost the end. Okay, so that was the original title. I'm really bad for titles. So the installations are all called Human Study and a Number. It's easier. I have a sponsor for the robotic part, Robotis, and I have an advisor, Marcus Wilmeyer from DeepMind. With Marcus, we've known each other since 2018, and we regularly exchange about ideas and things. We met at EACVA, the big conference specialized for robotics. We met in Brisbane, and since we exchange regularly, including on this project where the interaction are a bit stronger because of the LLM. So the idea is to, which is a bit strange, is to get LLMs to draw. So, which it's not counterintuitive because LLMs works with sequentially with strings of characters, and in a certain way, drawings can be seen as list of instructions that go over time, that unfold over time. And here, that was one of the first experiments that I did, is that I put one line, I showed that. I showed those 3 images. So it's a multimodal LLMs. And then the system produced that as an SVG. So it predicted the next frame. And so now to go back, to step back, some things that I always try and never manage to do is to get a surprise in the drawing, to get this shock of the new, the freshness. I mean, a lot of painters look for, I mean, I think all artists look for that, for the thing. This thing, when you look at it and you don't know how it holds together, but it holds, it just works. And so I've tried with that, I tried with the robot, and it works for a bit, you know, it ways, and then you get used to it. And it is also, I'm just giving you the things feeding in this project, in this new idea, because I'm working on it at the moment because it came like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, because it's not what I started with. And so you saw also the people watching the performance in Paris. You see those facial expressions, they are kids being amazed by the thing. And I had that also when I produced drawings as a kid, or even when you do sketches. You have this thing when you are totally in the system. And it's what I wanted to find again, to find this surprise, but also surprise in the process, which also happens when you do a sketch. When you do a sketch, it's an adventure. You explore the thing, you don't know where it's going to go, and you arrive there. But because we are a human, you do sketches, and you end up doing the same thing. The path is already the same. And the idea is to have a companion that would pull you in a direction or another, and so you arrive to something surprising. So at first I thought that I would work on something that would produce faces, etc., like I do usually. And then I remember that when I was a kid, or even when I was starting painting, I did those kind of fresco, or a bit like prehistoric painting, with a lot of different characters, a bit drawn in a childish way. And that's the recent experiment. So I feed that to the system, these samples. So those are just the little, yes, the vocabulary of the things. And then, so it's made with an LLM. And then I ask it to draw a flower, to draw some trees. And it's the thing. What surprises me is it's like it stylizes it, but in an unexpected way. And some things are totally weird. And it's this thing, people call hallucination, which is totally stupid. But here, the error, or what happens, it's not that's a cat there. That's a cat. And now, did I try the same video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Error. Yes, it's yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. So that's the stick men. I love the stick men and stick women. That was the dress. Another dress. Yeah, there's a funny one coming up, because obviously I tried to get around the censorship. So yeah, and it's really playful to be honest. It's this one. And I want to go back to the game thing, and I imagine doing those kind of drawings, because so that's what it produces, because it's not generated, they're really drawings. So it gives comment to the system that produces the drawing. So it's over time, but the thing is that, I don't know, at some point, it must be on the next one, or maybe we passed it. No, I did a slide this morning. Here. So here I'm drawing, and here it's a bunch of flowers. So the system put a bunch of flowers. So you can see the potential. And so that's made with a robot. That's the kind of thing I want to get to, a bit more figurative, and I want to be on big sheets of paper and start like that. And the beauty of it, so it does those kind of weird things. And it's the way the style is not, there is a similarity with the early Harold Cohen drawings. And I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it's because of those principles that are. And here, I asked it to draw a flower, and I thought, shit, it doesn't look at all like the flowers I gave him. And then I asked it to name the flower, and it was wisteria. Wisteria? And those are hanging flowers. And I thought, oh yeah. But then I don't know if it really drew a wisteria, or after I looked at the drawing, I thought, oh, that looks like wisteria. You don't know with those systems. So anyway, played a lot. And now, is the sound working on there?
Sound?
I don't know.
Try. We don't see it.
With every tool you have. So first you will do one use. I'm shooting a. Okay, so now I'm shooting a video. So you have to be very careful.
Network.
Okay, so now I'm shooting a video. So you have to be very careful. But first, I would like you to test your precision with every tool you have. So first you will do one use of your tools in small but not too small, in medium size, in large, and in largest. Largest is very large. Okay, so when you test the splines, they have to be complicated and quite long. The hatching also doesn't need to be a certain surface, etc. in different directions.
So normally there's 40 seconds wait to get. So yeah, what just happened is that I just told the robot to test himself because I was going to show a video, and the robot is just testing. I explained how to test, but and when I did that, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. But I've decided, so that is one of the models from one of the big company. It's from DeepMind. But I've decided, because it's now, I want to use some local models, because it doesn't make sense to have a robot driven by something that can just collapse, and also something that comes from the States is not a great idea at the moment. So here, yeah, the system tests itself, and after I say, oh, adjust a bit more that, adjust a bit more that. I'm not showing the drawings because it is possible to interact with the voice, with the pen, also with the system, but it's from last week, so I am experimenting and playing with it. And I should be able soon to integrate also the gesture. So be able to say, oh, here, put a bit more this. Do I have other slides? Oh yes, I have those slides. So that's the new arm I'm working on.
Okay, so now I'm shooting a video, so you have to use it.
That's the new arm I'm working on with some fingers. So like that, it can go very fast to draw. And so you can imagine me doing the drawing and the robot doing that, and the robot is doing faster. But that, I think I will need Sylvain's help to work on that. So, I can't remember what I had for this slide. I should write a bit more. Oh yes, I remember. Yesterday there was those talks about the purpose of art, right? For me, one of the purpose of art is to give a role to artists. It's how I see it. It's so and it is a responsibility because you have this thing that gives you a role in society. And it is that for me. It gives me my position. It is the best I can do. On AI, I can't remember what I wanted to say. It will come back. Oh, well, is that? So yeah, AI, so artificial, that means man-made. And we often forget that. We see artificial intelligence as something outside, when in fact it means that it's made by the man, by human beings. And we often for that. And there is this thing with technology. So all the technologies, they can be used, misused. So if you don't know how to use a hammer, you bang on your fingers and you hurt yourself. You can bang the head of your neighbor, or you can make a wonderful sculpture, or whatever you want with it, useful. And any technology is the same. You can have those different usage. Same with artificial intelligence, obviously. And artificial intelligence, in my view, doesn't change anything about the problem of being an artist. You still have to answer the same questions, which is why, how, etc. But it doesn't change because there's artificial intelligence or robot or whatever. It's the same thing if you have a pen or if you have a video camera. You have to ask yourself the same question and answer the same thing. Thank you. I'm a bit late for questions.
We have like two questions maybe? Anyone? Yes, in fact.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I have a question which I think we haven't discussed it here about the aesthetic appreciation of robotic art, so to say. I just discussed with Michael on the aesthetic qualities of art paintings, and he said yes, you can see how these paintings come about. So is it vital to appreciation to show the process of production? That would be one, and I have another small one.
I'll answer the first one. Sorry.
Okay. Yes.
So the first one, there is an article actually written by Rebecca Chamberlain, who is on the project, who studied that with one of my installations in one that was exhibited in Brussels. They did a study with people to see the influence of the perception of the process on the appreciation of art. And they did also a study, and it was published, 10 years ago, but it got talked about in the New York Times and on ArtNet. So you can find out about that. I can't remember the finding anymore. But the problem is that when you exhibit the installation is that it hides the drawings. Some people obviously are going to see the drawings, but most people, the robots moving and things, they take all the attention. But I don't always, the installation is one side of my work, but when I show the paintings, I only show the paintings. Because I get a bit frustrated by the fact that people can't see the drawing.
Okay, and a quick one. When you work a lot with human faces, is there something like the uncanny valley problem also in artificially generated faces?
Well, the thing is that they're never artificially generated except for those paintings, for this series of paintings, I always work from reality. Or my systems always work from the caption of reality, except for those where I use easy stable diffusion. But otherwise, it's always based on people, on humans.
Thank you so much for the presentation and as well. Actually, I experienced the work at 2016 summer in Berlin, and my friend was drawn by the motion, and it's so nice to see this work here again. My question is that how does machine decide where to start?
Where to start?
Yeah, because if like musically or dancehall was the first movement, eventually affecting through the whole movement of the robot and like motion interaction as well. So I wonder that if it learned your behavior of your drawing and it mimics yours, or it has its own way to start decision making, or it's just randomly started?
So there's nothing random in what the computer does, except when it does the scribbles. The scribbles are not random, but I mean the scribbles are random with the shape of the scribble, I think. So the way it starts, so most of the robots I exhibit don't learn anything. It's only specific installations. So those are with fixed software with different elements interacting, and regarding the first line, it reacts to the image with Gabor filters, and it gets the lines from the Gabor filters and it puts all the lines in a list and goes through the list like that. So it starts by the first in the list. But what I do is, what I decided is that it starts by long lines and then goes further down. And also for optimization, I draw one line that crosses another. So like that, it takes less time to draw, because that was a big problem at some time. So it takes less time without affecting not the beauty, but the interest of the process, because it needs to be interesting for the observer, the process of the drawing, or the drawing emerges. So that I am very careful, so the apparition of the drawing is interesting or works on the observer. So it's not like one line after another like that. It has to emerge progressively.